The wild robot escapes! Last time, we did this book. The wild robot. Bum 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 bum! Today, we will be doing... Wait a second. The wild robot escapes. So, how will we do this? The wild robot escapes from an industrial landscape. Well, that's a little weird. But hey, it's a story. What weird is a story about gonna be anyway? Basically, last time when the wild robot has to become wild. It becomes wild and wins over the animals with kindness. And eventually, doing all this kindness stuff, got her a good reputation, and then became friends with the animals. And then Ricos came and tried to kill her, actually deactivate her instead. But then did this. Roz and the animals actually killed them instead. Roz wasn't programmed to be violent, but the animals were the ones who became violent. Then more workers were about to come, and then she went inside the airship, and they went all the way over the world to the place where humans are, and that's where the wild robot escapes comes in. In the wild robot escapes, there's a lot that we can talk about here. And here, it's basically where the wild robot escapes the human landscape and tries to get home to her son, Bright Bill. So firstly, she is put into work by this person called the Sheriffs. It was this family called the Sheriffs, and the wife is dead, so that's only the kid. And one day, Bright Bill came from his migration from the island and met Roz, and they got a little cooking scene here. Yippee! And Jay and Jack were told about the stories about the wild robot, and when they saw the goose and the robot together, they figured out that's Bright Bill, and Roz is the robot in the story. Then they decided that Roz has to go all the way back to the island. Jay and Jack got the secret, but they kept the secret anyway. Then they started having an operation. Jay found out about the blueprints of Roz. And so they found out that there was a transmitter inside there that was sending out the electronic signal to get the people to know that where Roz was. So they were gonna deactivate Roz, then get the transmitter out, and then turn it back on. They removed a tube and a box, and then they thought, and Dad was like, "Hey, that's the wrong tube. Maybe I have this upside down." And they were like, "Oh, hurry up!" And they, with hours and hours of trial and error, in the midnight, it became morning, and they didn't sleep at all, but they still had to go to school. Roz was out of the transmitter, and she had a tool belt, so she can keep the transmitter in there while she was still. Then she gave a cow transmitter, and then, Bright Bill and Roz started their journey home. They went on a rowboat onto a wave, and then Roz's greatest fear was sinking. But luckily, a whale came to save Bright Bill and the robot. Roz first disguised as Weed, and then later she disguised as a normal robot in the everyday city. Then Ricos came. Bop, 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 bop. Ricos came and started trying to kill Roz because they thought that she was effective. Roz jumped and let Bright Bill fly. And then she met her designer, this old woman who was the CEO of Tech Lab Industries. And then she was deactivated, and her first body was destroyed. But there was a secret where Dr. Molovo got a new robot already and transferred Roz's memories and computer brains into this robot, where Roz feels different, but she still has the same mind. She convinces She convinces Bright Bill that she is his mother, and then they literally hug again. Then they stay at the house. Well, Bright Bill has never been this comfortable before. I mean, if I were like this, I would say, yay, comfy. Then what would happen is that they went in an airship and got all the way back to the island. Once they were back onto the island, however, a lot of the animals were gone. But still, there was a lot of brightness. And the story ended like this, where the wild robot spent her last days with her son, Bright Bill the goose. So that's how it is. This is a really touching story because I always thought that robots and nature never could come together. But until I read The Wild Robot, at least the cover, I decided that maybe they can come together and make a touching story. And so, I guess this is where I should end this episode. If you did enjoy this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next episode. Before I end this episode, I have a question. Which book is your most favorite? You can read these books first before you answer, but I prefer you answer right after this video. Is it The Wild Robot or The Wild Robot Escapes? Hope to see you. Shunahan out. Peace.